CTO from Mindfire Technologies walking up, who'd be talking about, right from defense to dividends. How do we take that journey, building resilience in cybersecurity as a strategic ROI driver? Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Mr. Rejeesh on the stage. Let's welcome our speaker once again with a good round of cheer. And brace yourself for the discussion coming up. Keep your seatbelts tightened. And I promise you, we'll give away some gifts right after the session. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. Good afternoon. Thank you for the welcome, and happy to be part of this wonderful event. So next 10 minutes or so, it's a brief discussion on cybersecurity, the changing landscape of cybersecurity. Return of investment and ROI as the driver of cybersecurity. So we will have some perspective on the cybersecurity ROI, how we measure, how we calculate, and what are the perspective and how we can take it to the board for a better decision, and how we can convert cybersecurity as a strategic asset, as a business asset. Just an introduction before I start. I am from Mindfire Technologies. So we are a cybersecurity company based in Dubai. So we have around 60 engineers in cybersecurity, and we have a cyber defense center based in Dubai Internet City. We are a 10-year-old entity, so company established in 2013. So we have a booth over here. So in case if you feel any discussion on cybersecurity value addition will be helpful, you are always welcome to our booth over there. Now, going back to our topic, the cybersecurity return of investment and how we can convert cybersecurity as a strategic asset, as a business. So this is a new perception, a changing perception, which is shaping across the globe. To consider cybersecurity as a strategic investment, as a strategic asset. And there is a significant change. So this is being studied by major research organizations across the globe. The changing shift, the paradigm shift from a conventional approach, from a traditional approach, which is based on a cost-centric based conventional approach. So the cost-centric based conventional approach considers cybersecurity as a cost center. So that is always the case. And it is the cybersecurity considerations and the coverage is also coming as an afterthought. But of late, so we can see that there is a change in the perception. So from a reactive approach, the cybersecurity is becoming more proactive, and it is getting more aligned with business. So in a traditional conventional approach, so we often see that this is not completely aligned with the business. When it comes to the boardroom or strategic decisions, so it is the cybersecurity considerations takes a back seat. But the trend is to have it as a strategic investment, as a strategic asset, which is aligned with the business objectives. So it is getting strategically aligned. And why it is getting strategic as aligned? Most of the cases we can see that the traditional or the IT or the digital transformation initiatives, the business applications, the customer-facing applications. So this kind of investment, the traditional IT takes a front seat. So most of the budget allocations or the priority goes to the applications or the traditional IT infrastructure and applications, as we can see that. So this creates some what we call as a cyber debt, which is creating a strategic gap and which opens up many challenges. So because the cybersecurity gets neglected and it often comes as an afterthought, and the priority goes to the applications. If I can take a quick poll, how many of you believe there is a cyber debt or cybersecurity, the applications gets priority over the security considerations? How many of you believe this need to change? If you can, okay, so fantastic. This is we can see that this has always been the case, so, and it creates and it's opened up a cyber debt in the organization. So because the pace of digital transformation overtakes the considerations for security. So because the digital transformation initiative will give, these are quick wins. So this will give quick results for an organization. But when it comes to long-term business survival, when it comes to long-term value acquisition, these gaps need to be addressed. So organizations should have a strategy in place. And so I know this is a mixed audience. It's not a cybersecurity focused audience. We have CIOs, CXOs, business leaders. So as a strategy, so this should be able to articulate to the business. So this is the changing perspective that we are talking about. So the evolving landscape of cyber threat and the new approach, the emerging approach. So which is the major shift from the traditional cost-centric approach on cybersecurity. And when it comes to cost-centric approach, most of the cyber initiatives are reactive. So most of the cyber initiatives are reactive, and sometimes these could be costly as well. So we have to respond to a ransomware attack, or we have to respond to a DDoS attack, because the digital transformation initiative take precedence over the cyber security initiative. Now, in the emerging, the new perspective, the cyber security is viewed as a strategic asset which require consideration. So let's look at some of the statistics, weekly cyber attacks per industry. So we can see that most of the organizations, so there is significant increase in cyber incident across industry. So this is a global statistics from Gartner. So this is the main driver for probably this thought of new perspective on the becoming cybersecurity as a strategic driver. Now look at some of the statistics. I believe the slide completely is not visible. Sorry for that. So the 2025, as per global studies, most of the enterprises adopt cyber strategy as a SSE platform, a secure service edge platform. So as per global statistics, this is the emerging trend. And by 2025, so threat actors will be powerful enough to weaponize operational technology environments successfully, even to cause human casualties. So we know that even in our house, if you do a quick nmap, we can see number of exposed IPs, right? So this huge space of digital transformation creates attack surface which can be exploited by threat actors. So by 2025, as per global studies, the IoT, the operational technology environments could be, there will be major issues which could even cause human casualties in operational technology. So we are talking about the proactive investment and reactive cost. So in the traditional, so if your organization, so whether you are following a reactive or proactive approach. So if your organization is still following a reactive approach, you are working on an unpredictable budget of known issues, higher expenses related to reactive approach. So when any challenges comes, even a ransomware or any sort of cyber attack, the expenses will turn out to be higher expenses, and there will be operational disruptions, reputational damage, regulatory implications. All this will be part of it. So we know many of the cyber incidents which cost billions of dollars lost to global organizations, and there are many reported and unreported cyber incidents which is impacting many organizations in the region and in UAE also. So this is the proactive approach where we can have the predictable budget. So we need to make the cybersecurity as a strategic budget, and we should be having the right conversation to the business leaders to make sure that we have a predictable budget and the known investment is possible based on the new approach to have a cost efficiency and business continuity and brand reputation in place. So this is the new emerging trend that we are talking on the new way of approaching the cybersecurity. Now, we talked about the attack surface. To manage the attack surface, we have to know who is accessing my data, who is logging in. So to have a zero trust access to verify each and every access request, the who part of it, and what they are accessing. And while they are doing the access, whether a least privilege method is followed, the sensitivity of data, our crown jewels in your digital estate, whether it is protected, and what happens to the privileged users, shared services, from where they are accessing, which locations, so whether the proper identity and access management is followed, and when they are accessing, whether the access is and the entitlement is controlled properly, and why they are accessing, to have a proper governance framework in place. So to have the proper process and procedures in place, to have the proper governance framework in place, and enforce this governance framework with proper procedures. Now, again, going back to some statistics, by 2025, 40% of boards, the business leaders, will have dedicated cybersecurity committee overseen by qualified. So these are global statistics, which again emphasizes the importance of converting cybersecurity as a strategic asset to have the right conversation and to have the right business objective. By 2026, 50% of C-level executives will have performance requirements related to risk built into their employee contracts. So these are some of the global statistics. And the market trends in cybersecurity. So whenever we think about spending on cybersecurity, cost avoidance is one term, or cost avoidance often is characterized as something which adds value. But cost avoidance could be a risky proposition in the long term. Cost avoidance may not be the right strategy. Right strategy is to have proper proactive measures to overcome the limitation of a purely defensive strategy. So cost avoidance, when we think of any security measures, the things will work. It has been working for so long, and it will work. So that sort of a cost avoidance strategy has put many organizations under risk. So whenever you are thinking about any strategic decisions or cybersecurity discussions with the board, you need to have conversations with the business leaders to make sure that the organization is cyber resilient. So how to make the organization cyber resilient? We need to reduce the attack surface, and whatever the attack, technology you implement. So whatever the technology is implemented. So most of the global organizations who has got compromised has got all this technology stack in place. They have all the technology stack in place, but still they got compromised due to many factors. Maybe a human factor. So the people, process and technology factor matters, and you need to strengthen your human firewall. So cybersecurity leaders in the organization should be able to have continuous conversation to business leaders, to the business, as well as the all stakeholders inside the organization. So to strengthen the human firewall. So this is how we make the organization cyber resilience, and the organization should be able to respond to cyber incidents quickly and should be able to recover quickly. So this is how we realize the ROI definition in cybersecurity initiative. So whenever any return of investment on cybersecurity initiative taking place, how to measure the ROI. So there is no specific criteria because each organization will vary. Each organization will have their own priorities. Each organization will have their own business model. So based on that, the ROI, the return of investment calculation on cybersecurity will differ. But most important thing is that we need to have an ROI-driven strategy, because just by having one solution, just by deploying a solution will not solve the problem. So we need to invest in processes. We need to invest in people to make sure that the investment is optimally used. So most of the cases, as per industry studies, technology implementations the return is almost 40% of the investment. Because there are a lot of scopes, there are a lot of gaps which lead to, which could be optimally used by following the proper procedure to maximize the ROI in cyber defense. So just to highlight the key benefits of cyber resilience, we have enhanced business continuity, and more importantly, increased stakeholder trust and brand protection, competitive advantage, and increased business health and longevity. So now integrating cybersecurity to business strategy is also important. So we should be having the right conversation for the business leaders to make sure that the cybersecurity goals are aligned with the business objectives. So this is also very important. So aligning cybersecurity goals with a business objective. And yeah, I'm short of time, so I got getting a reminder. So just concluding. So we are a cybersecurity focused company, so we have both over there. So in case of further questions or if you feel any conversation would add value, so you're always welcome